We're bringing this technology, blending it with our own research and development that we've done in autonomous systems, and we're innovating and empowering, I believe, people at scale in a country that has nothing but scale to offer. At MindHive, we're not simply developing products. We are, in fact, in our belief, pioneering a future driven with autonomous AI systems. We believe these systems truly have the power to reshape industries and organizations as we know them today. For those of you who have ever driven a self-driving car, you have touched autonomous AI. You know how transformative it is in a car. Imagine that kind of AI powering organizations of the future. That's our focus, that's what we do. We specialize currently, and our core focus is on businesses predominantly in healthcare, finance, and legal organizations. We have domain-specific, finely tuned, continuous learning models right now that are all built based off of a core model called AVA Fusion. And AVA Fusion has been domain trained and gave birth to models such as AVA Healthcare and AVA Legal that power these autonomous systems. And we believe that this goes beyond traditional artificial intelligence. We believe, in fact, it shatters the very boundaries of anything you folks have ever seen or touched for the most part in the field of AI. And we're bringing these high-impact solutions and the R&D and innovation engineering that stems from all of it with the very highest standards of security, scalability, and my personal favorite, ethical AI guidelines and principles to Pakistan. What makes our language models truly unique is, I believe, their depth and specialization. Each model, whether it's AVA Finance for financial forecasting, banking, credit risk management, portfolio management, market stabilizations, or AVA Retail that does some pretty amazing things in the space of retail. AVA Technology for IT operations, infrastructure, cloud, cybersecurity, and my personal favorite, AVA Healthcare for predictive diagnostics, clinical treatments, patient outcomes. All of these models, I believe, adapt autonomously to the industries they're deployed in and bring some truly transformative results at the end of the day. Our language models, I believe, are powerful enough to handle even the most nuanced of tasks that humans do. And they specialize in things like reasoning-based models in legal analysis, clinical decision-making, things that you would really want unique and subtle, nuanced behaviors out of. We believe we do those. We offer precision insights that are ethical and scalable, and I believe those drive real value. These AGI agents are at the forefront of our vision of autonomous AI. These agents, like Chiron in healthcare and Justine in law, are designed not only to assist, but operate independently across dynamic environments. Chiron acts as a real-time cognitive partner, supporting healthcare providers with diagnostic insights, patient management, and compliance, all essential for high-quality care. MedOps AI, which is the autonomous AI system for healthcare, specializes in healthcare operations. And LawOps AI, which is autonomous AI systems for legal and regulatory businesses, enable organizations to automate and optimize very complex legal processes autonomously, freeing up the human mind for more strategic, creative, high-touch roles where they should be. Looking ahead, our vision is to develop these truly autonomous AI systems and grow them, and scale them, and improve them, and spread out their reach. These intelligent agents will, again, as I said, independently navigate, learn, and adapt to various business challenges. These systems will operate with minimal human insight, continually refining their responses based upon real-world scenarios and data. Underlying this vision is a commitment to ethical AI. Each of our models and agents we develop are designed with unwavering dedication to privacy, transparency, and societal benefit. At MindHive, we believe these autonomous AI models should not only drive these efficiencies, but also uphold the values of integrity and inclusivity. By bringing this approach to Pakistan, we are in fact building a future where artificial intelligence not only powers industries, but does so with a sense of responsibility, serving both businesses and society with purpose and respect. I'm going to go off script here for a second. These are some graphics that represent our 6 core systems that you see. On the left, and this is what we're building out of Pakistan. On the left are autonomous AI systems for healthcare and law. In the center are autonomous AI models for healthcare and law. And on the right are autonomous AI AGI agents for healthcare and law. It is the R&D and engineering of these that has been done in the United States that's now being moved to Pakistan. And as I go forward, you'll get a better idea of how we're doing that. Our commitment to Pakistan is more than just an investment. It's a transformative vision to empower local talent and establish an infrastructure ready for a thriving AI-powered economy. By the end of the next fiscal year, we've already committed a minimum of a $10 to $12 million investment in that country. And by the way, we're also self-funded, 100%. No VCs, no dilution, no partners, fully self-funded. We plan to invest about 10 to 12 million in Pakistan. And my intention, and at the scale I'm growing right now, my intention is to grow that exponentially. And I literally mean that exponentially. For all of those folks of you who ever touched AI, you know that productivity is exponential. Sometimes I use the word parabolic. Well, guess what? Growth is also parabolic. And when growth is parabolic, so comes hiring. Hiring is parabolic. So as a result, the investments are parabolic. Unlike anything I've ever seen in 25 years in tech, frankly. We have a strong intention to grow exponentially. And we're not planning on just creating high-value jobs. By the way, I pay American salaries in Pakistan, just to give you a heads up. I don't take advantage of the social disparity. I pay US salaries. So we're not just creating high-value jobs, but we're elevating the nation as a recognized hub for artificial intelligence and AGI excellence. This is a pledge, I promise you, to nurture talent, create opportunity, and drive innovation from within this country. At the heart of this vision is Hive Labs. It is our state-of-the-art research and development hub, with 2 currently I have of 7 planned buildings in Defense Phase 8 in Lahore that we already have. And we will be the nucleus of artificial intelligence out of those labs. I see Dr. Sherwani standing here, so I think I'm running out of time. Am I? Okay. Okay. So having said all of that, I do want to say that we are going to be growing out in Pakistan. We're going to be strengthening the infrastructure. We're deploying our own power systems, redundant internet systems, working potentially with telco companies to deploy on satellites should we need that, and build out data centers in geographically dispersed locations so we can not only have the AI be created there, but if we ever need to, actually operate it out of Pakistan. Currently, today, and I'll be in Pakistan in December for 3 weeks, we are already doing initiatives, and we're starting at a grassroots level with the universities. We're working on partnerships right now with Dow Medical College, Jinnah Sindh Medical University, the Institute of Business Administration, IBA Karachi, and Indus Hospitals, and we're growing these relationships. And we're bringing AI into the health sciences campus at these universities to teach the physicians how to use it. We're gradually introducing it into the business organizations at IBA, and we're also bringing it into healthcare businesses, and we plan to span it out as we deploy MedOps, EduOps, and LawOps, and so on and so forth. My final call to you all is a call to action. And what I ask of everyone here is to join us on our vision for Pakistan, which we believe is quite ambitious and collaborative. We do want to drive impact. We are seeking strategic partnerships with organizations in Pakistan, like-minded institutions, like-minded innovators, and we believe together we can bring this transformative technology to the country, use it in the country, innovate products and solutions, emergence out of the country, and empower the country and the people there with this technology. So we're not just building yet another IT hub, we're truly driving innovation out there. Our work isn't just about financial growth. It's about hopefully changing the nation and the economies in a very small, micro way. Thank you so much for your time, and I'll leave you with that. Thank you.
So first, I have a couple of questions for you, and then we will people do you have in Pakistan? Maybe I'll use this. So how many people do you have in Pakistan, and what does it look like as you invest this $10 to $12 million? How many people do you intend to hire over the next couple of years?
Thank you. Should I take it?
Yeah.
So in the last 60 days, I've hired 18 people, and of those 18 people, 16 in the last 3 weeks. I had some growing pains initially with working out payment systems and getting payroll and stuff taken care of. Also internet connections, had some growing pains, computers and so on and so forth. But as we got over those humps, we scaled very quickly. At point right now, we're hiring 5 people per week, and that's only because I don't have my buildings in Lahore ready yet. As soon as that happens, we plan on scaling open inshallah to about 20 per week. And my goal is by the end of fiscal year 2025, we should be close to 1,000 people in Lahore.
So looking a little bit further out, 2 years or 3 years out, in terms of headcount, where do you see where you might be?
As you folks who are in tech, there's somebody from Google, I'm sure she'll tell you, that AI writes AI. So I don't really see headcount being, it's a different field, artificial intelligence. The productivity is parabolic, so it's not one of those businesses that I've scaled before with headcount, right? So I don't really see headcount as being a KPI that I would measure our organization by. But one of the things I measure ourselves by is productivity units, right? What are we producing, at what scale, in what period of time, what level of accuracy? I believe that the way I would like to be measured would by revenue attribution coming out of Pakistan, receipts coming into the country, taxes paid, and growth. Growth not in terms of employment. Of course that's going to happen. It's just naturally going to happen, right? When there's productivity in the nation and the GDP is expanding and you get credible, then business starts to come to country, through cause and effect, and then that causes employment. We ourselves, we're not going to be a 300,000 person organization ever. And if we are, that means we did something wrong with AI. But I do believe the impact will be causal on employment.
Okay, last question. How much of you think you can drive your revenue from Pakistan versus from your international country? In other words, this has a huge potential to improve Pakistan productivity across all these different vectors. What are your thoughts, and what your plans are?
So using the traditional software tech company model, when we say revenue drivers, right? Microsoft drives revenue out of Redmond, but their customers aren't in Redmond, right? It's a global, as somebody said from Google, you did say, Osman, that we're a global company. So driving revenue will be from all of our business development units, which I anticipate will be across the world. Currently, right now, I believe our next 2-year plan is predominantly US based in Turkey, because we have the strongest alliances there with some of the healthcare institutions and hospital systems, and of course America, potentially the Middle East and maybe Malaysia. So I anticipate the revenues would be received from those nations, but it will all, for the most part, 90% be because of the productization innovations that are emerging out of Lahore. I'm entrusting my R&D labs in Lahore, right? So I believe that causes revenue drivers, and so if that way you were to attribute it, 90% of my revenue will be Lahore driven.
Very good. So I think we have time for one question, and the guy who gets the question is who raises his hand the fastest. Okay, would you like to, can we get a mic to him over there? Engineer, do you have a question also? Oh, you have a question? Okay, we have 2 questions. Yes.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Zan Ahmed, and I'm also in the industry of AI. I've been in it for quite some time, since it was introduced to the general public. I have a question for you, especially regarding AGI. Now, we all know that AGI currently, it's a human-like reasoning, creativity, and adaptability across diverse domains. And we all understand that we are very far away currently, even OpenAI, from AGI. So what I want to ask you, and I wrote this question down, was how do you justify your claim that your agents are AGI, and can you provide independent, validated evidence that your agents surpass current autonomous systems like AutoGPT or LangChain?
Sure, thank you for your question. That's a valid question. So when OpenAI Sam Altman says we don't have AGI, he's talking about at a language model level. So for example, if you take ChatGPT, it's based upon the generative pre-trained transformer model. So the model itself is generative AI. Now, like generative AI, if you go to Hugging Face, you'll see about 1,500 models that are not generative AI models. models. There are text generation models, the chat completion models, the zero-shot classification models. At a language model level, I don't think we'll ever probably hit commercial grade AGI because it's too darn expensive to buy. So to embed it into a model and then solve it up, through an API at AGI at a model level, it's just too expensive. The compute's just not, it's not in the average person's hand. But to achieve AGI means you achieve behavior from a cognitive system. AGI is behavior, meaning, as you said, it's cross-domain, it's continuously learning, it's context-aware. To achieve AGI behavior is possible, absolutely, and yes, it's validatable, you can try with ours, 100%. So that's why we distinguish from the previous chart between autonomous AI, language models, and AGI agents. The agent will demonstrate AGI behavior. It will be cross-domain, it is cross-domain, it is continuously learning, it is context-aware, it can shape-shift and morph in real time, and has been proven in healthcare to switch between nephrology, oncology, hematology, right into patient diagnosis, out into bed management, compliance and billing, and right back to, drug treatment plans, right? That is very much AGI behavior. We have achieved that, and we never want to see it at a language model level. One thing, this is really important for all the tech people here. OpenAI's revenue model is based around building a chatbot off of a language model. So that whole nucleus of their revenue model is that language model, GPT. And they're going to keep evolving that language model from 3.5 to 4 to 4.0 and 0.1 and so on and so forth. So to bring AGI into their business model means to embed it at the language model level. That's simply not feasible today. But other purveyors out there that can take a fusion of language models with their own transfer learned models, above it with their own biased neural networks and various other things, of course AGI is possible. And I'm not the only one who's doing it, by the way, just heads up.
Thank you very much. Last question.
Yeah, I think you briefly mentioned about opening the data centers in Pakistan.
I'm sorry.
So, can you hear me now? Yeah. Okay, so you briefly mentioned of opening data centers in Pakistan.
Yeah.
So, how do you look at it in terms of feasibility? Because Pakistan, location-wise, may not be seismically that stable or favorable. So how do you look at the feasibility of that?
I'm a consummate optimist in everything I do. I don't see the negatives. I've been through enough in my life where I know that there'll be negatives, there'll be positives, and I don't dwell on the negatives. There's nothing catastrophic in that country. I'm from Pakistan myself, born and raised in Karachi, okay? There's nothing catastrophic there. The internet comes and goes, big deal. I just had a Cox outage the other day in the middle of a Zoom call, and I live in Orange County, for God's sakes, okay? What's the big deal? And somebody said over here on the stage, and I forget who it was, that you can't build organizations on incentives. It's not scalable. It's not sustainable. He's absolutely right. So yes, there are going to be challenges. Of course there are going to be challenges. You don't think there are any challenges in Vietnam? There's challenges there too. There's challenges in Ukraine. There's challenges in India. Believe me, everybody's taking a holiday all the time over there. I can never seem to get my staff together. So I don't see those challenges personally. It's a learning curve. Certainly it is. I mean, I just told you in 60 days, the first 3 to 4 weeks was spent just ramping up. It's a learning curve, even for guys like me who were born and raised there. But once you learn, hopefully if you know how to run a business right, you can bring some operational efficiencies in place, you get some workflows going, you get some checks and balances in place, you bring some management in, which somebody over here said is what we bring to the table, the Americans, who are American-born or American-trained entrepreneurs. You bring those operational efficiencies, you work around it. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for it, sir. Thank you very much. Our next presenter is Dr. Sohail Masood. Just to say something very small about Sohail Masood. We are very proud of him and his accomplishments in the last 25, 30, 50 years. Actually, we have to go back. He's an amazing human being. He has done a lot for Pakistan. He's a philanthropist. He has done a lot in that direction as well. As I said earlier, we are all proud of him. So we are actually very happy that he took the time to fly from Boston to come present the project that he has been working on for a very long time, Kava Fusion. So Dr. Saab, thank you so much.
Assalamualaikum everyone. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. So I saw there like 10 presentations in this time slot, and I know that we are all waiting for lunch. So I'm really not going to take too long, and I'm not going to go through a proper presentation. First of all, I want to congratulate Pakistan cricket to win their ODI against Australia. So I was up until 2 in the morning watching the game, and I was so excited that they won the ODI. And previous to that, they won the series against England. So, like few months back when the World Cup happened, I was very scared that Pakistan cricket is as dead as Pakistani hockey and squash. But I'm so happy that Pakistani cricket is back. So as a Pakistani American, I'm very excited about this news. Talking about Pakistan, Ms. Khokar was saying she hasn't been back to Pakistan for 25 years until recently. Unfortunately, I haven't been back to Pakistan for 40 years. So last time I went to Pakistan was in 1984. So there was a lot of hang-up about doing business in Pakistan. I started in healthcare back in the mid-80s. So I'm truly the pioneer in the industry that I'm working in, and that is called home infusion. And what home infusion means is actually providing patients at home with intravenous drugs and nursing. And that is really the cheapest way of providing healthcare to patients in the safety and comfort of their own homes. And even after 40 years of being involved in this industry, I can tell you 90% of the people in this room don't know what I do. Home infusion, even the physicians have no clue what home infusion does. But when the patients need it, they know how important this therapy is. Nurses coming into patient homes and infusing the intravenous drugs, either as chemotherapy, pain management, IV antibiotics, or in my case, the specialty of intravenous immune globulin, which is used for neuromuscular diseases, namely CIDP, myasthenia gravis. We recently heard about stiff person syndrome. Actually, I'm the one who gave the drugs to NIH to get the diagnosis approved. And Celine Dion came out and said she is suffering from stiff person syndrome. So for me, this industry is very important. Unfortunately, there has been no really developed software to provide true services in either USA or even abroad. So we're still really a cottage industry. So my goal was to find a company to develop the software to the needs that I see in the market. So luckily, previous ambassador, Mr. Masood Khan and CG Saab, Asim, they were really instrumental in introducing me to a company in Pakistan 2 years ago called CareCloud. So I started working with them, and eventually we are starting a true partnership where we'll hire about 44, 45 IT developing team, and we will develop this software in Pakistan. And my feeling is, after working 2 years with the team, what really excited me was that when I was introduced to CareCloud, which was a company I never heard of, I went on YouTube and I saw the video about the company and their office in Azad, Kashmir. And this is a company which hires mainly women during their daytime shift and men at the night time. So I'm thinking of Azad Kashmir, I'm thinking of impoverished area, I'm thinking about how we can fight Taliban, and really this is the best way to do it, empowering the women in Pakistan. And I was so impressed with their social activity and social activism that I believe that we can really work together and develop a software using the Pakistani young females and male who will eventually benefit either financially or finding jobs. Just right now, I'm using about 150, 200 of their employees. So imagine how many homes are benefiting from this project. Secondly, there's a foreign exchange going to Pakistan every month, whatever we are sending their salaries to. So goal is that it will take us 2 to 3 years to develop this software. And I'm not an IT guy, so I cannot use any technical language. I'm very computer illiterate. I only know how to watch YouTube and I know how to do my emails, and that's the end of the story. So I'm depending on the Care Cloud team to really develop this software, and eventually have people who will be managing the software. So that means that there will be an ongoing involvement of IT folks in Pakistan. They're either Azad Kashmir, Muzaffarabad area, or Islamabad, or Pindi, or Karachi. Wherever they are, they will be employed. Once we develop the software, definitely Kaba Fusion, my company, will use it, but will also sell it to other organizations who are providing home infusion services, like Option Care is one of the largest. So Kaba Fusion, I started 14 years ago, is the largest privately held, independently owned home infusion company in America. And every company that I have developed in the last 30-some years, I always look at Adawa. So my first company was Crescent Healthcare, that's the Islamic name. Second, so that first company I sold to Baxter. Second company I developed was Infusion Pump, and that I sold to, first company was sold to Walgreens, the second company was sold to Baxter, but that was Blackstone, which was a translation of Hajar Aswad. And now this company, Kaba Fusion, is Kaba, which is in Makkah, so I do a lot of interfaith, and I'm very involved with Unity Productions. So for me, interfaith is very important, so I named Kaba, Fusion from Kaba, and if you look at the logo, it is the Kaba logo. And inside the Kaba logo is the molecule of IV immune globulin, so that's how I created my company. I have a son with Down syndrome, so I'm also very involved with Down syndrome community in America. I'm hoping that one day I'll go to Pakistan and help whatever I can help on the social justice and social welfare. Definitely there are challenges, but just like Mr. Farooqi said, there are challenges in every country, challenges in America too, so I'm not afraid of that. And I really tell you that Care Cloud relationship gave me the comfort and trust in Pakistani brain power. So I'm very satisfied. Thank you very much.
So Eli, I have a question for you, and then probably we'll take one question from the audience. So just looking forward, if you think 2-3 years out, what do you think potential, you're thinking about terms of employment or impact to Pakistan? How do you see that?
So I think the initial development, we are looking at 45 IT folks, and that will take about 2 years to develop the software. So we are looking at about maybe $10 million investment in the company to set it up and do it. And once the product is developed and we find users for that product, then there will be a continuous revenues going to Pakistan, and definitely the goal is that we will purely 100% keep it as a Pakistani project. So all the IT people will be based in Pakistan.
Fantastic. We'll take one. Go ahead, clap. One question from the audience. Or you have another question. Now this time we'll charge you. Please take the mic.
Thank you. So it's a half comment, half question in a way. I don't know from the name, how the name denotes to the Kaaba in Makkah. And I think people have certain sentiment and some emotional response. Probably there might be some population that are sensitive about that. So did you receive any kind of that feedback?
Sure, very good question actually. There was a reason to name Kaaba Fusion, and I was hoping that people, even if they don't know why Kaaba Fusion, I wanted them to ask what Kaaba Fusion means, because any company name we hear, we want to know where the name came from. So usually it happens that I have like 100 patients and family members sitting in a room like that, and one of them will raise his hand and say, what does Kaaba Fusion mean? So for me, the reason I named it was, like my daughter said, it was a chic name, but for me it was because I wanted to bring the story of Abraham and Ishmael to the Judeo-Christian followers, because I wanted it to become Judeo-Christian Islamic tradition. And that's why when they ask me, I tell them the story about Abraham and Ishmael and how they together build the home of the God. And also not just that, home infusion and home of God. So that's what the other thing is. I tell them Kaaba means home and home means home infusion. So depending on the audience, goal is to make them understand that in America, the Islam is not something nobody knows about. Islam is something they know about, they just forgot about it. Because they're so focused on Abraham and Isaac that they don't remember the story of Abraham and Ishmael.
Dr. Masood, thank you so much. Really appreciate that. So our next project that we're going to talk about is a project actually that we talked about earlier, is something related to technology Trinity. So I'll request CEO of PSEP, Mr. Abu Bakr, to come join me on the stage.
Thank you.
Okay, so the project that we're talking about is very simple. As His Excellency the Ambassador talked about that about a year ago, Saudi Arabia and Pakistan signed an agreement, it's called Digital Connect, which commits very large sum of money, think $1 billion, to collaborate on projects between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. Unfortunately, no such project has been submitted to date. So we think that as a shortcut to doing that, and that will bring a lot of benefits to the two countries and also the country here, we are working to build a project that will take startups from Pakistan, get the leadership from United States for those startups, and relocate those startups, their headquarters in Saudi Arabia, so that they can be funded. And these would be based on startups or companies which have good products that have already found traction in Pakistan, but they would have a potential benefit for Saudi market or for the MENA market or for global markets. So in this way, we solve the problem of how to get financing, growth financing for the Pakistani startups. It solves the problem of how to get the diaspora get involved in the growth of Pakistan, but also solves the problem of getting them funded. So I have a very esteemed guest here, which would be in the heart of doing it. So that's why I'm going to have a conversation with Abu Bakr in the next few minutes, is that how does he think about how we go about implementing and what the audience can do and what we would like the audience to do, how they can participate in this project.
Thank you, Ravindra. I think this is the brainchild of Ravindra, so I won't take the credit, but obviously this is when I heard for the first time, I think that was before even I joined PSEP, I thought it was a brilliant idea because I think it solves three different issues. One is obviously we have abundance of startups that are emerging, and it's a pretty thriving ecosystem of the startups in Pakistan. And then we have people like Ravindra who are in KSA, has access to capital, has access to a lot of other markets from there, and then we can globally launch from there. And then obviously the third one, which is also very important, because I think we all know one of the areas that Pakistan lacks a little bit right now, not a little bit, but Pakistan lacks is the leadership sometimes. And I think that was a brilliant idea to just connect all two together. But what's in it for Pakistan is obviously we take the startups to KSA, but their back offices will stay in Pakistan, because KSA does not have the capacity, or Saudi doesn't have the capacity to build the back offices or developers or teams of engineers in Saudi. So the benefit to us is we're going to continue to do that. We can just take those things, the high potential startups, where we're going to have a fully vetted process through the P7 Ignite, which is our Ministry of IT. We're going to shortlist, we will pick the top few startups that has the potential to grow and scale globally, has proven model, has got some traction, strong founders, because that's very important to make sure that, and they're willing to relocate their team, the front-end teams, into the KSA and have their back offices in Pakistan. So that's the vision, and I think if we let Naveed Bhai chime in on after that, is if we can kick this off, I think the goal is to be able to do that by early next year. And I think December is what we're planning to do this as a formal announcement too. But that will start up, that will create one of the big things that I've always thought. Pakistan is very famous Pakistan from an IT industry is famous for services. This takes us into the product category. And I think that's very important for a brand elevation from Pakistan IT industry, because very, very services focused. I think one of the visions that I hope to get out in the next few years is to move Pakistan from a just 95% services industry to have some great products coming out of Pakistan, because that elevates and brands you in a different way than it is today.
You know, clapping is such a great thing to do. And when you are really, really not clapping and just thinking of not, don't do that. If you're going to clap, go clap. Thank you very much. Let me give you a sense of, if you have a startup in Pakistan, you know of a startup in Pakistan, and know of a good company which has some products in Pakistan, you think, let me give you a sense of kind of financing that we have in Saudi Arabia. Now, this is not really related to Digital Connect. Digital Connect is a Saudi-Pakistan program. Leave that aside. If you have a company that you register in Saudi Arabia, which will help you register, and you hire 5 people in Saudi Arabia, okay, you will be eligible from $100,000 to $500,000 in a grant. It is called a relocate grant. It is not equity. It is grant given to you, non-dilutive, right? That's one program. There are 18 such programs in Saudi Arabia that have been created. I'll give you an example. If you hire Saudis there, we will pay 50% of their salary for the next 3 years. If you hire a Saudi founder, found one, we'll pay all of his salary and benefits for the next 3 years. If you are trying to grow your company and you have, let's say, a term sheet for $20–30 million, we will give you a venture debt at 0 interest of the 75% up to $100 million. These are not small programs. These are things that can truly grow companies that we have in Pakistan. These programs already exist. We are not going to have to invent anything. Now, this is on top of the Digital Connect program between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. That would probably fund bigger projects, larger projects that need between $50 to $100 million to grow. But again, we have not received any proposals. We would like to see any one of you, if knows anybody who has any interesting product company in Pakistan, please contact us. Now, we did a preliminary reach out to people, and in last 15 days, when I reached out to some of the folks I know, we have received 18 proposals from companies who have a product in Pakistan and they would like to expand in Saudi Arabia. So that tells you, this is just my network, which is Naveed Sharwani, private citizen, but that tells you that if we were to do that at the governmental level, make it known to lots of people, potentially we can get large number of proposals, and then they can go through the vetting process at PSAP and Ignite, and make sure that everybody in Pakistan, from KP, Balochistan, Sindh, Azad Kashmir, Punjab, everybody participate. We truly want it to be inclusive process. We do not want to have any biases, things like that. Why? Very simple. We want the best companies to come, because the first 5, 10, 15 companies are going to determine our success, right? So this is the reason the first 5 or 10 will have to carry the lot of weight of the success of future. Now, what we plan to do is not just select these companies and bring them to Saudi Arabia, carry them through. So we will have staff in Saudi Arabia, plus my staff in Saudi Arabia, will help them land customers, will help them land financing, help them grow. So this is not a one-off thing, but this is in collaboration with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, our trade delegates in Pakistan Embassy, that we will carry them through, we will watch them, we will make sure that they stay healthy, because each one of them will be carrying the flag of Pakistan, right? Last thing I would say is that I think Park Launch, Open, and other similar organizations can play a huge role. When, as we transition these companies, each one of them will need probably 2, 3, 4 senior people from diaspora, potentially from United States, but other places as well. Because one of the things we do is that when we apply, and I've tried that, to apply for financing of the companies from Pakistan, the senior member of that are so junior that we cannot qualify for funding. Because the CEO is 2 years out of a college, and then his CTO is 6 months out of a college, and so the point is, yes, they might be highly talented, but getting VCs and the government agencies to agree to finance them is hard. So I think this is where we'll rely on the senior folks from United States and elsewhere who can help these companies. And so we are looking for dedicated people who are willing to relocate. Relocating to Saudi Arabia has many other benefits as Muslim, and which I don't have to highlight to you. My wife actually, she's relocating to Saudi Arabia. She thinks that she's going to do an Umrah every weekend. I don't know if it is practical, but she thinks that she wants to do that. So I have one question for you, Abu Bakr Sahab. So as we roll out this program and select these, do you think this is something that, how long do you think this process will be? Now I know you have a very limited experience in PSAP, but given whatever experience you have, I'm of course hoping that this doesn't take months. Do you have any sense of when can we roll this out? I mean, this has to be an initiative of Pakistan government.
Yeah, and as you know, Pakistan government doesn't always kind of work the fastest, but be realistic about it. But I think the reason why I say I'm very optimistic that it can happen very quickly is because there is no shortage of it. This is the first time. So when we are picking, there's about 30,000 companies out there, and at least 9,000 are registered with FISAB also. So we have a lot of access to these companies. We know their track record. We know a lot about those companies. So for us to vet those things for the first round may not be that hard because we have to pick the top 5, 10, whatever we decide to do that. So my estimate is about 90 days we will have a very good solid number of potential companies that can get plugged in. And I think you guys have to give a shout out to what he has been able to create an opportunity for us in Saudi Arabia. This was not there before. The reason why this program has a huge potential to be very successful is because people like Naveed Bhai is there in Saudi Arabia, has done this. Not just, I just spoke to the companies, and when I started teasing this off last week at the companies, it's very hard to get things registered, it's very hard to get those things. All of this will be taken care of because they have the people in Saudi Arabia who knows how to get these things done. So I think we are facilitating a lot of this hard work that people don't know how to get through it. And then once you get through it, I think 90 days is probably a good number to get the first set of companies out.
Okay, so all of you witnessed that the CEO of PSAP said here 90 days, right? So I will get my first company on February 5th. All right. Oh, that now I don't know anything. Okay. We have time for 1 or 2 questions, and let's go over there. Right there. And then we come back here. So why don't we go over there first?
Thank you, Dr. Thank you, Abu Bakr. Such a pleasure to see this. It's really heartwarming. And my name is Sohail Pirzada. I'm from Dallas. I just want to understand, this is a very, very good opportunity and we feel very thrilled about it. Do we have a competition on this as compared to, what do we have? Are we competing with India? Are they just, taking a back seat on this, or we are in competition so that, people over here can get more excited and more, on the bandwagon rather quickly? That's it.
Yes,
Thank you.
right. So anybody can do that, right? So it would be an individual initiative rather than a national initiative. I am not aware of any digital connect program between Saudi Arabia and India. So there is no committed dollars, right? So, or any other country that I know of. So this is actually, if you go to Saudi Arabia, you find out something which you may not know. Saudi Arabia holds Pakistan in a completely different status than what you may think about it. I discovered that by going there. that in Saudi Arabia, there is a huge respect for Pakistan. And that has something to do with bilateral ties between Saudi Arabia and Pakistan. It has a lot to do our ties not just on the civilian side but also on the military side as well. And so this is a long relationship we have with Saudi Arabia. So there is a lot of deep respect for Pakistan. So this is the reason that many programs actually exist between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia that does not exist with any other country. So I think while there may be a competition at an individual level, I don't believe there is a country to country any such agreement which can facilitate that. So my short answer is there is no competition. We can do it. I think if we ramp, if we can get 10 good companies, great. If we get 50 great companies, we are the most favored nation in Saudi Arabia. Yeah, we are. Yes.
My name is Wajahat. I work from Marvel Semiconductor, and I think I'd like to make one comment first before I'd like to ask the questions. What I feel that what you are proposing, honestly, this is one of the lifetime opportunity. And if we missed it, honestly, it will be very much disappointing. And I really applaud for this. And because I know I'm in the semiconductor industry, I asked this question to Raghav yesterday at Open. And the people like you, I mean, you are a giant, Jalil Bhai is here and some over here. I think we should have at least a think tank that you're proposing. So you have to come forward for this proposal to find the people to put together in Open, in Silicon Valley, to propose what kind of proposals really the company needs to have. So you're asking, there's no company that you don't find any proposal, but the people that working probably they don't have idea. So the proposal or ideas should come from the think tank, like you, to ask people to go and research on that, so they can come back and have some good idea about the new product. Personally, I know that working in semiconductors for 30 plus years here, so I can also guide people because just my expertise in, I would say in automotive and cybersecurity on the functional safety side. We can contribute for that too, but I don't think that we have such an idea floated around. It's just a lot of talk about it, that we have so much fun, we give you this, but literally we don't have somebody that we can hold their hand and say that these are the ideas that the company will do. This is what I want.
Sure. Look, so let me clarify something. When I said that we have not received a proposal, that is from the government of Pakistan to the government of Saudi Arabia, right? That's not true at the private level. At the private level from United States, we have received 64 proposals just in last 3 months to relocate semiconductor and other companies to Saudi Arabia. 64. And many more from other countries as well. So, but I was not making a comment about lack of proposals. We don't have any lack of proposals. And we don't have a lack of funding. The problem is, there is an agreement between Pakistan and Saudi Arabia. We should take advantage of that. And so none of these 64 proposals will take advantage of that. So we should take advantage of that. So there is no lack of proposals. There are a lot of proposals coming. Now, we have developed this for semiconductor business because we have this already National Semiconductor Hub. But a comment I would like to make to all of you guys, if you have any business, doesn't really matter any business, you sell cables, racks, healthcare. Right now, it is my opinion that there is a gold rush going on in Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia intends to spend $4.6 trillion in the next 5 years to improve and change their economy. If you have no sense of what a 4.6 trillion looks like, it's the entire budget of the United States, number one, right? Other than the money we print. That is basically what we collect. So if you think about that one way, second way you can think about that, China introduced a program called Idai Loop, which translates into loosely into one belt, one road. That is over 67 countries. The total outlay of that over 15 years is 2.7 trillion. This is 4.6 trillion in 5 years. So I think you should fathom that if that is happening in some country, there is going to be opportunity for everybody. I've been there for 1 year. I have discovered there is opportunity for everything. I'm a semiconductor person, so I'm looking at semiconductor. That's true is in healthcare. So is in, if you want to open up a school, for example, a good public school, that is probably the greatest place. They are importing 12 million people in Saudi Arabia in the next 5 years. All of these people will need all kind of products and services. So my general shout out to all of you guys. I know we are running out of time and we can have more discussion in lunch. I'll be here for lunch. But we have one more speaker. Let me close this topic and go to our last speaker before we can go to lunch.
Sherwani sir, since you talked something out of your technicalities, can you take one question from the media also?
We can certainly take that, but let me ask a question.
No, it's up to you.
No, so I love media. Obviously, without media.
Thank you very much for that.
So I think we have one more speaker. And then
Now, just a brief question, you know, if you want to answer it, fine. If you don't want to answer it, fine. My question is, all these proposals and projections are fine. It's very, you know, warming and all that. But on the other hand, tell me, have you ever thought about the political fault lines which come, you know, which are in the way of China right now? China developed on the basis of Sino-US cooperation, developed all those technologies and all that, but there Pakistan has been suffering under so many sanctions, military sanctions, economic sanctions and all that. Have you thought about this kind of a cloud coming from nowhere and affecting Pakistan, you know, our proposals? Thank you.
Yeah, so it's a very relevant question. The question is that as we do this work between Saudi Arabia, United States and Pakistan, are we worried about what kind of political situations, geopolitical tensions might affect this kind of work, right? I think where we stand today, I can tell you at least for myself, and I work with several government officials in all the three governments, none of us have any clue what the geopolitical situation is going to look like 1, 2, 3, 4 years from now. The fault lines are changing every day. The alliances are changing every day. One thing we cannot do is not to do anything because we are afraid of the politics.
Thank you.
I say that the same thing to US government, I say the same thing to Pakistan government, I say the same thing to Saudi government. Take action as much as we can. When the door closes, it closes, but at least we will have a seat on the table. If we do nothing, then you have nothing. So that's all I say. Let us go to the next speaker.